Have you ever felt as if your life is at a standstill and that you're living in a rut composed of your own bad decisions? Well, say no more. Do Your Worst is a relatable South African film that made it to the top 10 most watched films on Netflix alongside Brad Pitt's Bullet Train and other international favorites. Actress Shannon Esra and producer Bongiwe Selane join us for more to talk about this movie. Now, what inspired you to make Do Your Worst? Bongiwe, we'll start off with you.
Thanks for having me. It was first of all, it was a really funny script. I think it was very relatable, had a lot of resonance. I think we could all relate to a certain age that women get to and we kind of don't make the right decisions or think we are, but not. So, and I was just very much interested in like this female story, the female gaze in a modern South African context.
Now, Shannon, you're an actress in the movie, and you play an important part in it. I'd like to imagine. Now, talk to us about when you first saw the script and why you took to that script.
Well, from the moment that I read the script, I really had like several laugh out loud moments, which is very rare. It was also written in a way that it really leapt off the page, and I just fell so in love with Sandra de Silva. I mean, I hopped at the chance to work with Bongi and Sam Nell, who I'd worked with in 2014 when they were doing a female slate for Mnet. It was a bunch of short films, and I was lucky to get cast in the one. And it just so happened that it was the right time to work with them again. And so who could possibly pass up the chance?
I'm going to have to ask this. How much of that character was actually relatable to your own life, or certainly your own experience?
Oh, no, a lot was very relatable. I mean, I lived in Los Angeles for 6 years. I was a struggling actress, / waitress, / dog sitter, / house sitter. I knew what it was to really, and still I have that dream and that passion, but those were some really tough years. So I had a lot to relate to with regarding that, that actor aspect of it. And, it's just, and then you just build the rest in.
So, Bongiwe, one of the most watched films on Netflix is not often said in the same sentence as shots in 18 days and shoestring budget. How did you pull that off?
It was tough, but I think we had an incredible team, a really amazing cast and crew, and a very organized director. I mean, Sam is just that thorough and pedantic, and it was a pleasure working with her. I think we knew that we wanted to make this film. I don't think it was an easy sell, so we're very lucky that Netflix brought on to it. And, it was a co-production, so we had to actually raise some of the money on top of what Netflix had given us. So we just, we all just came together. Great planning, great team, great cast and crew, and we had to make it work, and it was a real pleasure. We had a lot of laughs on set, and I really had fun making this one.
No, it's a relatable story, and potentially maybe that's one of the reasons that you thought it would have been a difficult sell to Netflix. But what in your mind stood out? Why did Netflix accept to do a co-production, if you will?
I think that often I find that a lot of what is on air currently is all the same, and it's nice to kind of pick something that it's different. That there's an audience for it. Maybe not as wide and as big as what the other offerings offer, but to be able to cast it properly and then say, this is what I can offer with this product. I think that was a really good sell. I mean, we had to sell the cast, that these are the people that we're going to carry it on screen. We had to sell a director who has amazing comedic timing and is able to deal with this kind of material. And just sell a different South African narrative. For me, that was very important. I wanted to offer a different offering to our audiences, and this was the right material of a little bit of drama, but a lot more comedy, which is what audiences go for.
Shannon, a couple of questions for you, and I suppose the first is about the intensity of shooting this great production in 18 days will be the first question. Just how intense was it? And the second thing is, are you a funny person? And if not, did you have to adjust your character to play funny?
So luckily, I actually am a very funny person, and given my resume and my portfolio, you would not think so, because I usually am placed in a lot more dramatic roles. And so this was an amazing opportunity to flex that muscle, which was absolutely terrifying, because I was afraid. I was like, oh my word, can I actually do this? Was it intense shooting for 18 days? It was honestly such a breeze for me after coming off shooting 58 days on Lioness season 2. So this was like a holiday. It was amazing. I loved every minute of it. I've never had so much fun on any production in my entire life.
So Bongiwe, you had to compress everything rather, and do it all in 18 days. I'd imagine that shooting on the streets of Jozi, that many lessons were learnt, as enjoyable as the process was.
Very much so. I mean, I think, again, it comes back to the planning, making sure that you get the right permissions, and just making sure that, you know, the neighborhood that you're shooting in is aware of what you're doing, and they're buying into it, and really just very organized crew that were prepared every time we went on set. It was tough. I don't think I've shot a film in 18 days. But we made it work. And the hard part, I think, was that it was in the middle of winter as well, which is always not as pleasant. But because of the laughs, you know, it made it so much easier.
So one question, but hopefully two different answers from the both of you. Bongiwe, what do you hope that South African audiences and audiences across the continent and the globe will take away from this movie?
I think for me, it's just that, you know, South Africa, we have great stories, and they're many and they're varied, and they carry all shades of South Africa as well. That was very important. I think that's very important. And the fact that there's great talent, you know, from our directors, our cast. There's great talent that comes from South Africa, and also amazing stories, you know, and stories that maybe just deal with a different aspect of South Africa rather than the heavy kind of leaden legacy stories, that we can laugh as well and laugh at ourselves, which is always very important.
Absolutely. And for you, Shannon?
I don't know that my answer is all that much different, to be honest. But I think it is incredibly important that South Africans themselves and the people around the world know that we have, as South Africans, we are actually very funny people. And to have these beautiful, nuanced South Africanisms, you know, threaded through this picture is really special. And more than anything, it's so relatable. Men are relating to this film as much as women are. So it's been really rewarding reading and hearing the feedback from people who have been watching. And I just hope that, I just want people to laugh. It's also the surprising thing about the film is it's not just funny. It's got a lot of soul. There's so much heart and soul in there. And it's about friendship. It's about love. And it's about women and
your mom having a go at you.
People.
And your mom having a go at you.
Totally. Totally.
That's so fun.
Yeah. Shannon, I want to ask something else, and that's to do with the versatility. I mean, you talked about the Lioness, which is juxtaposed against this, you know, poles apart. Certainly, I'd like to imagine in the skill set and what you bring to the screen. So let's talk about versatility for an actress. You know, for those budding actors and actresses out there. You know, what are the skills that they need to employ, and what's the advice you would give on versatility?
So, you know, for me, I think it's really important that people understand that acting is not an act of self-expression. It's actually an aspect of self-discovery. You learn a lot about who you are through the parts that come to you. I think in terms of versatility, I think one of the most dangerous things for any actor is to get stuck in a typecast. So to be able to push yourself and do things that make you feel uncomfortable, I think that's really important to do. You know, I always say when I become attracted to a part, I am terrified and excited in equal measure. And the excitement is getting the part, and the terror comes from, can I do it? And can I do it the way that it needs to be done? What's going to best serve the story? And acting is not, and it's also, it's a very selfless act. You are a cog in a very big machine, and you need to be very selfless. You need to let go a lot of things, and in that you become very liberated. It's an astonishing experience. If I look at who I was during the shooting of Lioness compared to who I was shooting Do Your Worst, I was two completely different people. And at the end of the day, I come out with all these beautiful, like you become like a patchwork, this beautiful tapestry of just these little compositions of little things that you learn in this process.
Beautiful tapestry. Beautiful way to put it across. Bongiwe, finally, let's take a look at future projects. Incredible work that you've done here. What's on the horizon? What can the fans look forward to?
Well, I hope a lot more stories around women in South Africa, and working with an amazing cast and crew. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited of just being part of this industry, making films and being supported by Netflix and our other partners. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to working with Shannon and Kate and all the amazing actors that came on board this project on other projects. Yeah.
And Lady Lioness, where do we see you in the not too distant future?
I mean, listen, if I'm right alongside Bongi and Kate and Sam, and if I'm alongside the entire cast and crew, it will be an absolute privilege and an honor and a pleasure. We've got some things kind of like in the background, nothing that I can really talk about right now, but whatever it is that grabs me will be something different yet again. I want to always be pushing my own boundaries and pushing the expectations of people who are watching my work. I want people to always be surprised. I want to be as surprised as people are.
Have no doubt that whatever the both of you put your hands on will be grabbing for the audiences across the country and across the globe. Ladies, appreciate your time this afternoon.